This is WBSM On Demand.
Good morning. Good morning. Beautiful day out there. Hopefully you can get outside and enjoy it. If you're a 10-year-old, don't stray too far from your house. But in this hour, we're going to talk. We'll have 11 o'clock, we'll have Sheriff Tom Hodgson, the chairman of the Trump campaign from Massachusetts, the most powerful man in Massachusetts these days, here in the studio. Now we're going to, like we like to do, talk about local issues. So, Parallel Products is a waste transfer facility up in the industrial park, the business park, in New Bedford. Now, they've reached a memorandum of understanding with the mayor, but there's a lot of process left to go. They need a approval from the Board of Health, the local Board of Health. They need state approval. And there was a meeting the other night up at Pulaski School. I know there were a number of city councilors there. Certainly Leo Choquette was there. Linda Morad was there. Brian Gomes was there. Shane Burgo was there. And I know the New Bedford Light was there. So I think the New Bedford Light does a great job. And I love the fact they have an audio feature. Right? So I'm going to play you a little bit of the audio from the New Bedford Light article. Full credit to the New Bedford Light, the journalists over there. We're going to play a little bit now. If you were at that meeting, you like to talk about, or you live up in that neighborhood, Parallel Products. Now, this also is going to impact Acushnet and Dartmouth, Freetown, all over New Bedford. But let me also just put here, the region needs it. I know that nobody really wants to hear that, but the region needs Parallel Products. Is that the best site? I don't know. But I know that we all make garbage. In the 2 hours I've been here already, there's garbage in here. Right? Think about your own life. What am I going to do? Eat that stuff? No, it's got to go somewhere. And I have to hand it to the experts. And in this case, it's likely Parallel Products are a necessary expert. But my heart goes out to the people who live in that neighborhood. Right? My heart goes out to those people. I'm willing to give them a forum here, but at the end of the day, I don't know if they're... I know they're fighting an uphill battle. I'm just not sure. I'm really not. But let's play a little bit from the New Bedford Light. NewBedfordLight.org if you want to read the article or listen to it for yourself. Here it is.
Doesn't say. I, Adam Goldstein. New Bedford, dozens of city residents, environmental advocates, and local elected officials told state regulators that Parallel Products' proposed waste transfer facility doesn't belong in the city's business park. Close to 40 of the roughly 100 attendees at Wednesday night's public listening session at the Casimir Pulaski Elementary School spoke against the project, expressing concerns over truck traffic, noise, fire risk, quality of life impacts, and increased cancer risk that they argued the facility would bring to the surrounding residential area. The Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, which is weighing the project's approval, held the meeting to hear comments from residents after delaying a decision for more than a year. Residents said that these issues, combined with the presence of environmental justice communities and New Bedford's issues with legacy environmental pollution, should lead Mass DEP to deny the site suitability application. Waste transportation has absolutely no place near a residential area, said Mike McHugh, a North End resident. The proposed waste transfer station will only make these impacts worse for myself, my family, and my community. Parallel Products has been developing its New Bedford expansion since 2018. It has operated a glass recycling business in New Bedford's business park dating back roughly a decade. The company has been doing business locally under the name South Coast Renewables. At the proposed facility, workers would unload trucks full of municipal solid waste. They would sort recyclables out of the garbage and process or sell them. The workers would then repackage and ship out the remaining garbage via train or truck. that trash would be incinerated or buried in other towns and states. Related, it would handle up to 1,500 tons of municipal solid waste and construction and demolition debris per day. South Coast Renewables has been going through Mass DEP site suitability application process since February 2023. If the state determines the application meets its criteria, the project would move forward to the New Bedford Board of Health. The Board of Health would then issue a public notice, conduct its own review, and hold public hearings before deciding whether to allow the project to be developed. Audience members who spoke at Wednesday's hearing did not believe South Coast Renewables should make it that far. Some noted public health concerns over truck traffic bringing in hundreds of daily garbage truck trips to the North End. New Bedford resident Lorraine Sweeney said diesel garbage trucks are notorious for emitting nitrous oxide, particulate matter, and ground-level ozone. She said the fumes would impair air quality in New Bedford and could spread around Bristol County, which has received poor grades for air quality over the last several years from the American Lung Association. Those emissions would directly affect children and teachers at the schools surrounding the project in the North End, she said, along with the rest of the city. Wendy Morrill, president of local environmental advocacy group South Coast Neighbors United, enlisted help from area resident Nicholas Gula to demonstrate the noise issue that will also come with these trucks. Gula dressed up as a garbage truck and blasted truck noises from a speaker between comments throughout the meeting. "I just want you to think about how annoying and disruptive that was," Morrill said at the meeting. "Now imagine it's multiple trucks, not just one. Imagine it's every 2 minutes while you are trying to talk or listen to someone. Imagine it's not here in this school during this 2-hour meeting, but in your neighborhood and your home every day." New Bedford City Councilor at Large Shane Burgo said that while South Coast Renewables has promised noise levels at the facility will not exceed 10 decibels above ambient levels at night, backup alarms from trucks and trailers can be as loud as 97 to 112 decibels. Noise pollution can lead to health problems like...
So we're listening to the New Bedford Light article. That's the audio version of it. They did a great job. Adam is the journalist up there. And again, I think the New Bedford Light does a great job. I do appreciate. They were covering the Parallel Products state hearing, the neighbors hearing that they do up there. If you live in that neighborhood, you'd like to talk about it, give me a call at 508-996-0500. I know that it's a major developing project up there, right? Is it? Would I want to live there? I certainly wouldn't. But somewhere we need a trash facility, right? 508-996-0500. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, McCarty.
What's happening?
I just want to say real quick, that computer-generated voice does not make for good radio, I don't think. What do you think?
It's not perfect.
The article.
It's perfect, but we don't have a news department anymore.
No. I mean, I know the technology's there, so the article is available to listen to, and that's a great service, but it's kind of hard to listen to. Just because it's not a real person. But anyway, hey, I just want to say quickly, Chris, glad you're back. I got a little nervous. When my radio was, sounded unfamiliar. And anyway, I was just thinking, this morning you explained it, and I'm thinking, Mitt Romney left his dog on the top of the station wagon.
Yes, he did.
Christine Noem shot a dog. Yes. Barack Obama ate a dog. Yes. But none of them ever blamed the dog.
Yeah, I took a day off from work to care for a dog. That's what I did. I took a day off from work to care for a dog.
Hey, what kind of dog you get?
A Shih Tzu.
Sweet. I'm jealous.
No, it's a cool little dog. I like it. I love it, whatever you want to say. It's fun because it's in that stage where it needs you to do everything for it, and it's jumping around. I love the thing. It's really pretty cool.
That's great. Hey, and for the folks who live up by Parallel Project, that's tough. That wasn't there when they moved in, no. And now they want to expand it. So I'm kind of with the residents on that one, but it's So I'll get off anyway. Glad to have you back.
Thank you. I do
Curious how
appreciate
people
it.
react.
Thank you. Yeah, I took yesterday off to take care of a little puppy who was new to my life, right? And my old dog Milo passed away, and Natalie and I have got a new dog now. I just didn't know how much they kept. That thing has no sense of night, not yet anyway. So it was up all night, and so was I. So anyway, I took the day off. The parallel products, okay? It is a necessary service. The problem is, it is a case of, I know everyone needs it, right? Certainly those neighbors know they need it, but they just don't want it in their backyard. And that's no small thing because people want to be safe and comfortable in their home. I don't know where they would put parallel products, where it wouldn't bother anybody, right? But I'm not even sure that, how do I put it? They're telling you they're going to make it run smoothly, and I think the city's going to be on top of them. I don't know. Listen to a little more from the New Bedford Light, from the meeting last Wednesday night at Pulaski School. I know there were a number of city councilors there. Shane Burgo was there. Leo Choquette was there. Brian Gomes was there. Linda Morad was there. So it was a very involved meeting. I've had a lot of, like Wendy Merrill I've had her here. Mike BQ, I've had him here. I've given them a lot of opportunity to make their case here. Again, I'm very sympathetic to the property owners up in that area. We'll go back to the article.
Cardiovascular issues and increased diabetes risk once operations begin, he said. Other attendees pointed to concerns over fires, environmental contamination, and cancer risk that may come with a trash transfer station. McHugh said fires are a common occurrence at waste processing facilities like the one South Coast Renewables is proposing. He said that if there is a fire, and the neighborhood needs to evacuate, the only way to leave the neighborhood is to go toward the fire. He added that liquid containing environmental contaminants could leach from the garbage in idling trucks and run off into local wetlands like the Acushnet Cedar Swamp. Leo Choquette, New Bedford's Ward 1 city councilor, talked about growing up next to Crapo Hill landfill in Dartmouth and the high rates of cancer in both the area and in his own family. That's the legacy of trash, he said. He added that if the state would not stop the project, he and organizers would get the federal government involved. Erica Kismer-McKeon, a communities and toxics senior attorney with the Conservation Law Foundation, told officials that New Bedford already bears far too many environmental burdens. The city is home to 2 Superfund sites, 1 closed landfill, 2 inactive dumps, 1 former waste site, and 11 brownfield sites. Putting a waste transfer facility in a community that already bears so many environmental and health burdens is the exact opposite of equitable, she said. Studies have suggested that property values could drop by as much as 13% near the waste facilities, said Sabrina Davis, an environmental coordinator for the Coalition for Social Justice. New Bedford resident Ken Custa added that many of the residents, largely working-class people and retirees, do not have the financial means to move away from the facility once it goes in. Others still pointed to the fact that the transfer station wouldn't solve the waste crisis. The facility would not succeed in its goals to remove significant recyclables from the waste stream, in light of Massachusetts' existing recycling programs and soilage from mixed waste, Moral of South Coast Neighbors United said. She added that there is no incentive to develop and deploy actual solutions to the waste crisis, like composting and waste reduction programs, as long as there is money to be made from it, and the people who live, work, attend school and engage in recreational activities in this community are acceptable collateral damage. Some local elected officials decried that the decision to bring a solid waste transfer facility into New Bedford's business park was made behind closed doors, between South Coast Renewables, the New Bedford Economic Development Council, and Mayor John Mitchell's office. City officials negotiated a host community agreement with South Coast Renewables in 2022. The terms dictate that the city would not publicly oppose the facility if the company dropped its plans for biosolids processing on the property. Officials also argued that the facility would threaten local livelihoods and that residents did not get an adequate say in it. We need to be sure that their quality of life remains exactly how it always has been, and that we don't do what our mayor did, which is sell out the residents of the city of New Bedford, said New Bedford City Councilor at Large Linda Morit. Mass DEP officials said they would review the comments received during the hearing and in the written public comment period before issuing a final decision on site suitability for South Coast Renewables. The comment period for the project is set to end on December 4th. Email Adam Goldstein at goldstein@newbedfordlight.org.
So I want to thank Adam Goldstein for doing that story, being there when I couldn't be, and reporting it in the New Bedford Light. Great publication over there, the New Bedford Light. So that is what's happening in the North End. Now, we've been reporting on parallel products here for a long time. I happen to think that, in disagreement with Council Morad, who is a property owner up there, so she's got more standing than I do, but I don't think the mayor sold out the city. I think he negotiated the best deal possible, recognizing that much like the homeowners have property rights, so does parallel products. You buy a piece of property, particularly in an industrial area, which that is, and he's not breaking any rules. I mean, they're living within the zoning set by the city council. I don't know when it was exactly set by the city council, probably back in the 70s. But that business is within the zoning regulations set by the New Bedford City Council. Maybe nobody on the city council was there then, but that's the rules. And if someone had thought years ago that they didn't want that there, they could have changed the zoning. Now, I mean, I hate to say that. Like, I'm not callous about it at all. I'm really not. I know what it's like. We in Freetown had a big TV antenna put in our neighborhood right down the street because a residential area on the border of an industrial area, not really industrial, but a business, a general zoned area. They were able to put the radio tower in, and it's still there to this day. So people got really upset about it. Some people made a political issue out of it and got elected, but there was still nothing they could do about it, right? 508-996-0500. Do you live in the North End of New Bedford? Do you live in Dartmouth or Freetown or Acushnet? Are you concerned about parallel products? Or are you just resigned to the fact that you have to have facilities like this in urban environments? Because urban environments make trash. And I know there was Wendy Morrill, lovely girl, I appreciate her, very smart woman. She points out that there's a lot of things people could be doing, so they wouldn't need a transfer station like this. But they're not going to do that, so you do need a station like this. You do need parallel products. The question is, do you want it in your backyard? I doubt you do. I know you don't. But it's got to go somewhere. 508-9960. If you're on hold, I see you. I've got one phone line open, 508-996-0500. Stick around. We'll be right back. Having in East Freetown. It's not that far from the North End of New Bedford, not far at all. It's my hometown, East Freetown, beautiful place, right off Route 140. Profile Tavern. They have great barbecue out there, great American menu. It's a great American tavern, really is. Profile Tavern. Why do they do barbecue there? Well, they have different regulations out there. They can start those smokers nice and early. So when you sit down to a plate of barbecue out there at the Profile Tavern, it is the best meat you're going to have all day, whether it's brisket or ribs or chicken, you name it. Profile Tavern barbecue is second to none. They have great ice-cold beer, a number of different beers on tap or in the bottle, and they have regular cocktails. If you're not interested in beer, you want a regular cocktail, it's all available at the Profile Tavern. Not in the mood for barbecue? Try the pizza. The pizzas, the burgers, the salads with grilled chicken, really great stuff. They're open daily for lunch and dinner, located right off Route 140, Profile Tavern, another Jay Lanigan establishment. We're now joined by Brian Gomes, at-large city councilor. He was out there at Profile at the at the Parallel Products meeting last night. Good morning, councilor. How are you?
I was not at the Profile Tavern last night.
You were at the Parallel Products meeting.
Yes, I was.
How was it, Councilor Gomes? You've been on this issue since day one. Tell us about it.
Good morning. I've been on the issue right from the start. As I said the other night during the meeting, I had received a call from a gentleman living right across the street when they first started smashing the glass up there, and they were going to do recycling, and then this issue of Parallel Products with the trash and everything. Look, it's zero tolerance to what is going on over there, because it should have never been permitted. It should have never got to the point that it was. And there was something that definitely happened with the administration and also the Economic Development Commission. There is no doubt in my mind, because if we go back in time, originally when this issue first breaks, and I break the issue, I might even talk about it on your radio show, this Parallel Products thing was supported by the mayor. I can remember the mayor being on there and being questioned about it during the Barry Richards show, and he said it's not going to be a problem. It's a quarter mile away. You could see it right from the backyards of those houses that are located on Phillips Road. Parallel Products has a business, and as I said the other night, they have to do what they have to do. The only thing is, this location was the wrong location due to the fact that this abuts a neighborhood, a prime neighborhood in the city. Every neighborhood is prime in the city. Let me just recorrect an area that quality of life would be affected, traffic, all kinds of things that I don't think the park was in. When it was first built, was intended for. It was intended for 21st century technology and all that to be attracted to the park. And what we got now is a dump. It's going to be a dump site, and I don't support it. I never have. Yep, I'm the guy that grandstand said I was going to lay down in front of the trucks. I meant what I said. It wasn't a grandstand. We lay down in front of the trucks. You have to protect the people that you represent. And the comments being made about the sellout of this through the administration, we appropriated money for lawyers to go and fight this with a zero tolerance. No was the answer, and we should have fought until it was no. We don't go into a deal that gets us $800,000. That's not going to do nothing for the neighborhood as far as the quality of life or what is happening up there. We shouldn't have bought into that. We should have fought it right to the end. That was the intentions of what that money was appropriated for and should have been.
We have Brian Gomes, at-large city council, here talking about Parallel Products. So, Brian, what do you think the Board of Health will do? I know you've been asking all the people that the mayor has appointed to the Board of Health what they're going to do on this. What is your feeling, having some contact with the Board of Health, what their opinion is on this? Do you know yet?
Don't really know what the opinion is, but they know what our opinion is on the behalf of the people. And as you said, I did ask the question, and one of the new appointees wanted to look into it. What that Board of Health is placed there for is to protect the well-being of the city, yes, of anything that it could be harmful or whatever. I'm hoping that the Board of Health will, if it comes to that point, if the Department of the state does not gives the okay, or if I want to see the state say no, they're not going to allow this to proceed, would be the best avenue that is taken. But if it comes down to the vote on the Board of Health, again, would encourage the Board of Health to protect the citizens of this city, especially the North End, and against this project being full formed and operating due to the fact, again, the location. You want. I realize that we have to get rid of our trash and we have to do certain things, but this is not the location. It bugs the neighborhood. Again, the quality of life that's going to be affected on that neighborhood is not one that I support, and I will continue to fight alongside them and any agency that is fighting. And you also mentioned about Wendy and her group. They have done a phenomenal job of putting together all the stuff that specialists put together to show what the harmful effects, what the quality of life will be, and other things that within the neighborhood as this progresses to come along. But we would hope that the Board of Health, again, I would hope that the Board of Health would take an affirmative vote on behalf of the city of New Bedford and not one that has been somewhat planned out or, again, just not transparency with the people of the city. And this project was not, transparent with the city, because when it was intended to be there, if I was the mayor, the first thing I would have done was start talking to the neighborhood or whatever. But they were keeping it silent until it was discovered. And then once it was discovered, we had to go into the fighting mode of fighting against this and bringing it to the city of New Bedford.
Thank you, Brian Gomes. I do appreciate it. Brian, thank you so much, my friend. Have a nice Thanksgiving, Brian. He's always available whenever I reach out to him. Brian Gomes, I do appreciate that. I wonder if, first of all, the company that is Parallel Products, they're sophisticated. They know what they're doing. They would not have invested that money in that property. They would not have invested that money if they didn't know they could do it there, right? In other words, Tim Cussin is a good guy. I know him, and I've known him for years, really decades. It doesn't skew my opinion of what's happening up there, but he's in business, local resident, and he knew he could do it. He checked everything before he started to invest millions of dollars into that facility to do what is a very necessary service in industrial society. We are an industrial society. We have to dispose of our garbage. It has to go somewhere. And then it's sorted over there. They do a very nice job of explaining how it works in the New Bedford Light. At least I think they do. So if you haven't seen the New Bedford Light, check out that article. But I feel very bad for the neighbors. But I'm not really sure what can be done legally to prevent, or if from a standpoint of the whole city of New Bedford, you do want to do anything. In other words, the cost of disposing of trash is already enormous. And the fact that you're going to get a below market rate from Parallel Products, if you live in the South End, if you live in the West End, if you live in the North End, you're going to get a much reduced rate to dispose of the trash that you have to dispose of anyway. So from that perspective, it's kind of a good deal. Now, if you live in Pine Hill Acres, it's a trashy idea. You know that. But if you don't, it's not a bad idea. And, I just hate to be the guy who says that. It's just, I'm just trying to be fair here, really. 508-996-05. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Sketty. How you doing?
Oh, my stars. I'm great. I'm glad you're there.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're there. Tim explained that it was just you being overworked from the dog. I think the dog's name should be Night Owl.
That's not a bad one.
But, this Parallel project has always been my pet peeve. I'm so angry with the mayor. I'm so angry with the whole monopoly of the whole thing, conversation-wise, what's reported, what's not. So I had to go downstairs and I had to help a neighbor. I had to go get her some unclogged stuff for her sink and things, whatnot. And so when I came up, I'm listening to this near the end. Chris, I just want to know, have you said this yet? That the Parallel Project does have another vote out there. They changed their name. They are no longer called that. The company that bought that property, all those acres. How many acres was it, by the way, Chris?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it was in the 7s. And they changed the name, and there is a way for people can still go and make a vote and talk about this. But Samir, all that time you had him on the show, he didn't bring this up, not once. I had to hear this on a separate radio station off of the public broadcasting, one of the CAI. For some reason, New Bedford is being made an example of what to do and what not to do. And as far as recycling, we have waste management coming here. Most people, like you say, if you own a home and you've got your trash, you can do the recycle bucket and the non-recyclables. That's fine. But when most people in all of New Bedford is high-rises or condos or this or that, and they have their own, like, one big trash bin. They come, they pull it up, and they push it in. You think it's being recycled? I'm watching this day in and week in and week out. It's not being recycled. So I actually just started getting really mad about this the other day, and then I got really mad when I found out the Parallel Project has a whole different name, everybody out there, and there is a way. And Chris, I would love for you to find out what that other name is.
Is it South Coast Recycling?
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, South Coast Recycling.
But everybody has a right. It's coming up. And supposedly everybody has a right to go and oppose it again because we didn't have much of a chance. You remember I made a big stink about this for months, and I wasn't allowed to talk about it on the radio until, you and Marcus would let me.
Right.
And Catherine and Paul. I hope Catherine's listening. I haven't heard anything from her. But I'm telling you, it's under a new name, and it's supposedly coming up. We can have another chance at this.
Yes.
Because I think he got so greedy, so quick, making so many deals, so doggone fast. The wind turbines, this and every other thing. It's just destructive. There's like no thought process. It's just more.
Thank you for the call, Sketty, as always. 508-996-0500. We're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll go right back to the phones. If you want to get on the program, we're focused on Parallel Products. Is it a good idea, bad idea, necessary evil? I don't even know if it's evil. That's not really the right word. Necessary in an industrial society. I feel bad for the people that live there, though. I do. I really do. We're going to take a very quick break. If you're on, I got one phone line open. If you're on hold, stay there. Renewables. All right. South Coast Renewables. That's the current name of the Parallel Products. The company that's doing, as known as Parallel Products, right, is South Coast Renewables. 508-996-0500. We're talking about the meeting that was up the North End the other night for Parallel Products of South Coast Renewable about that transfer station up there for garbage. And it's heading for a vote for the Board of Health and for the state of Massachusetts. So, good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hey, good morning, Chris.
What's happening, Nick?
Not much. I've heard this talk about this issue for quite a while. Mm-hmm. I don't really understand it. It's in an industrial park.
Yes.
It's been zoned industrial park. So, to me, I think that's pretty much the end of it. I think anybody that had any issue with it should have raised the issue when they were presenting the idea of implementing the building the industrial park. Industrial park is supposed to be a place where people can go to develop businesses that wouldn't be, appropriate in other places.
Right.
So they don't have to deal with a whole bunch of hogwash about this and that. They don't do it in an industrial park, so they do it there.
I think what you're going to find, Nick, is that is what the state says as well, which is a problem for the residents that really are right outside the industrial park area.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can deal with it. I've had occasion to use the place a little bit far from the not too far from the old Parallel Products, which was on Sherman Avenue. In other words, ABC or Capital Waste, whatever it is.
Right.
And you get on there, and on hot, humid days, you get within a couple hundred feet of it. You know it, but it's not like you losing a leg or something.
Right. That does. Thanks for the call. That does put it in perspective. It isn't like losing a leg. I do agree with the man there on that. It's not even like having a crack in your windshield, which is easily fixed, folks. All you have to do is pick up the phone and contact Citywide Glass. They have locations in Fall River and Dartmouth. Best of all, they have a mobile team that drives around. So they can come right out to your home or your work and fix that crack in your windshield. They can also fix cracks in your truck slider, sunroof, door windows, side mirrors, anything you need. Contact Citywide Glass. Citywide Glass, all insurance accepted. So it likely won't cost you a dime to get that very dangerous crack. And it's not good to have a crack in your windshield in the winter. The winter can expand it. Ice gets in there, expands it. Now you've got a hole in your windshield, and that's not good. Reach out to Citywide Glass. Call them in Dartmouth or Fall River, or go to citywideglass.net. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Morning.
How you doing?
On that south coast, could they move the property to someplace else in the industrial park?
The property or the business?
The business, yeah.
I mean, they probably could, but why would they? Because then that would enter a new permitting stage, right? In other words, they're doing everything based on that location. And if they move it, that's going to generate brand new people opposed to it, right?
Yeah, that's true. All that intersection there, that's going to be all probably redone to handle all the trucks coming in.
Maybe. But I don't even know how many trucks they're really anticipating. Do you?
No, I don't, but I imagine it's going to be a lot. If they're going to open up a brand new building, they'll do that. And plus, they're going to have scrubbers and everything on those stacks coming out of the ground, out of the buildings. So it should be clean air, not clean air, but you probably won't even smell it.
I agree with you. In other words, it's not the transfer station of the 70s. It is a brand new facility.
Yep. Can I give a shout out to the Haven Blue Devils tonight?
Of course you can. Go ahead.
My grandson's on the team, and he's got a chance to break the state record of touchdowns.
Who's your grandson?
4 years he's been in the school.
Who's your grandson?
Justin Marks.
Justin Marks. Well, good luck, Justin. You don't need luck. You got skill, obviously.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome, my friend. Yeah, good luck to the Blue Devils tonight. I'm not sure who they're playing. Good luck to the other side, too. But Fairhaven Blue Devils, that's great. Justin Marks. Go get him. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hey, am I on?
You are on the air, my friend.
Nice to hear you back.
Thank you.
I got me worried there since you had that little problem over the weekend there, and I thought it was something to do with that. But
no, just a new dog in the life.
Yeah, I understand. About this, and I'm glad you're back again.
Thank you.
All right. Again, about Parallel Products. I don't know. I drive around the city, and I see a lot of different garbage trucks with different, company names on there. Does this mean that we're taking the garbage from all over the state and funneling it through there? And again, if there's going to be limitations on what they're supposed to take, who's going to sit there and police and say, you can't bring this in and you can't bring that in? Because I think, obviously, they'll bring in what they want and what they can get away with, that sort of thing. So, again, am I seeing a lot of different garbage trucks? And is it coming from all over the state down here?
What I would say is that there are some different garbage trucks because there are private carriers that do industrial trash. There are trucks that have been bought out and probably haven't had the logos change because there have been a couple of different transfer companies that are in the area. Capital is here, but I think they've got some old trucks from the other companies that have been here. So, but this is a private company, so they're going to take in trash from everywhere.
So they're taking trash from everywhere, right?
Sure.
So in other words, Boston could be sending their trash down here too. This is a regional problem, like they say. you better be careful that Maura Healey doesn't declare a state of emergency and say, "Hey, we're going to send all your garbage down there," that sort of thing.
That's possible. She loves those. Thanks for the call, my friend. She loves those state of emergencies. She really does. We're still living in one with illegal aliens. They sent them to Fairhaven. New Bedford seemed to have missed the illegal alien bus. I doubt it. Really. We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back. Right, the New England Patriots, they've been trying to get it right for a couple of seasons now, but they just did it right. They beat the Chicago Bears last Sunday. This week they're going to take on the LA Rams. Patriots against the LA Rams. It's a good chance for the Pats to pick up a win. Patriots against the Rams. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. here on WBSM. The pregame starts at 10 a.m. A lot of good information that pregame. I always enjoy the pregame here on WBSM. New England Patriots all season long right here on WBSM. So we're talking about parallel products up there in the North End. I think that for the rest of the city, it's a good deal. The mayor negotiated a deal that gets all of you a reduced rate for disposal, right? So that means you don't have to pay as much to dispose of the waste that you can't help but to make. Now, if you really want to stop parallel product or South Coast renewables from being developed, stop making trash. Literally, stop making trash. And you'll be part of the solution. Other than that, the mayor and quite frankly, the city council are required to find a place for your trash. If you don't make it, they don't have to do that. But they do have to do it because you and your neighbors make trash. So if it wasn't for guys like Tim Cusson, it'd be piled up in your yard. So I get it. You don't like Tim Cusson because he's opening a business that you need, which makes no sense to me. I get it. You don't want it in your yard, in your neighborhood. But somebody has to have it. Why not New Bedford? I mean, I know that doesn't sound fair, but it's got to go somewhere.